Okay, so within the Apply Texas, this is the summary level data that a counselor has access to. The name of the institution, the name of the student, the date of birth, the number of 4-year applications, the number of 2-year applications, or scholarship applications, and everything else. So at this point, they can actually download the information in an Excel spreadsheet and do data analysis. If you click on this, it provides detailed information on that particular student. It provides where the student is applying to, the deadline of that application, and this was added actually from feedback from counselors, because they were looking at, okay, this person is on page 9 at Texas Christian University. They had to go outside the system and look at somewhere else to see what the deadline of that application is, to see whether they even had to do an intervention at that point. So we provided that information here. So that was the other thing. The feedback is very important to us. We actually respond to every feedback that we receive from the field. Whether we can do it or whether we can do it or not is up to the how complex the request is. But we do provide a response to every request from the field. So again, if we decided, that if we needed a date of birth, or if we needed some other additional information in here, and if we can legally do it, then we can provide that information to you. So that's another, feedback is very important on Apply Texas. Now the application itself, the way that the process works now is that the application is only updated once a year. So we look at the, and applications that are live are not updated. So we look at the application for next cycle. So right now we're looking at changes to the application on questions. If somebody has, this question is very vague, or this question is not really what we need, those changes are going to be for your junior, for the next class. So it's always looking at one cycle behind. We don't touch any live applications unless we really have to because of statute or some other regulation that we have to change a question or not, or whatever. So the other thing that the counselor suite provides is FAFSA submission information. This is the second year that we provide this information to counselors. So if you click right here, you'll have the student's first name, last name, initial date of birth. We wanted to provide information that the high schools can go back and match to their records. Whether they completed or whether they're saved and it's not, and they haven't submitted it, and whether it's processed. And the other main data that we provide is whether the student is selected for verification. Now the selection for verification adds additional steps to the student for them to be able to get an award letter from the institution. The Department of Education, they actually implemented the IRS tool within the FAFSA. So anybody that uses the IRS tool, it actually just gets all the financial information from the student and from the parents directly from the IRS. If they use that tool, they will automatically be, they will not be selected for verification. If they don't, they will automatically be selected for verification. So if a student goes in there, even if they're looking at their information on paper and inputting it directly from a tax form, they will still be selected for verification. The verification process changed a couple of years ago. Before, you can just have a couple of forms from the institution, and then you submit the 1040, your family's tax forms. Now you actually have to have an IRS transcript. So it's no longer the IRS form is not valid. You have to call and get your IRS transcript for the financial aid office to process that information. So we've been trying to encourage counselors not to do the FAFSA form before a student has a completed tax form. So if they are doing FAFSAs in January, they're going to have to come back or they're going to be selected for verification. A lot of counselors, they mean well. They want to have them exposed to the FAFSA, and then they can always come back and do a correction, submit a correction to the FAFSA. But the second step usually never occurs. So a student that is selected for verification can actually go back into the FAFSA and submit a correction. By submitting the correction, they'll be deselected for verification at the federal level, and instead of going through the process at each institution that the student submits an application. So it's very important for the student to come back into the FAFSA form and submit a correction so that they can get deselected for verification.